Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is going to be titled, Different Roads. At some point in our lives, we all reach the realization that we each walk our own path. These roads, while different in direction and destination, are meaningful in their own ways. It's something deeply important to understand. Just because someone else isn't taking the same road you are, doesn't mean your path is wrong. In fact, it doesn't necessarily make your path right either, not universally at least. What might feel good or right to one person may not hold the same value for someone else. So when we assess our decisions, the most honest conclusion we can reach is this: it's good for us. It works for us. And that's what matters. Life doesn't hand us a clear set of rules that apply to everyone. So much of how we move through the world depends on our perspectives, our values, and what we're personally seeking. What might be a goal for one person could be irrelevant to someone else, and that's completely okay. Still, the world doesn't always greet this difference with grace. Sometimes we cross paths with people on an entirely different trajectory, people with different goals, lifestyles, beliefs, or mindsets. And when those people don't understand our choices, they might criticize or dismiss them. Some may even go so far as to say that our road is wrong. Whether they say it with harsh words or subtle looks, their message is the same. You're not doing life the right way. They may believe that their road is superior, and while they might not be outright rude about it, their disapproval still lingers in their tone. That can be disheartening. But one of life's more beautiful truths is that roads often curve, merge, and reconnect. You might split off from someone, go your separate ways, and years later find yourselves traveling parallel paths once again. That's just how life works sometimes. Think of it like taking two different back roads that eventually spill onto the same main highway. The routes might look different, but the destination can overlap. And that doesn't make either road less valid. Now and then, we drift. We veer off course. We take a detour, led by curiosity, necessity, or even confusion. Along the way, we look around and realize that this detour isn't serving us. It doesn't feel right. And so, we return to the main road, with new insight in tow. There's no shame in doing so. But others may try to shame us regardless. They might say we made a mistake, criticize us for wandering, or claim we should have known better. But here's the truth. How could we have known without trying? It's through those detours, those imperfect choices, that we learn the most. They define us, not by the missteps themselves, but by our willingness to explore and our ability to recalibrate. Personally, I think detours are vital. They reveal what doesn't work for us, and once we've seen what we don't want, we're better prepared to recognize what we do. That's the essence of self-discovery. In fact, I believe detours are one of the most underrated parts of the journey. They teach us things that comfort zones never could. In many ways, we need the wrong roads to illuminate the right ones. Eventually, if we're lucky, we find ourselves back on a path that feels right, wiser, more confident, and more sure of what we want from life. But along the way, we will veer off course, sometimes without even realizing it. And there's no single type of road we're talking about here. It's not just career choices, it's belief systems, lifestyle decisions, the way we choose to love, worship, learn, and live. Our roads are our entire way of being. This reminds me of a song I really like, with lyrics that say, "So why does there only have to be one correct philosophy? I don't want to go and follow you, just to end up like one of them. And why are you always telling me what you want me to believe? I'd like to think that I can go my own way and meet you in the end. Those words capture exactly what I'm trying to say. Why must we all follow one path, one philosophy? Can't we believe in the roads we choose for ourselves and still find each other somewhere down the line? And yet, many people are quick to label their detours as failures. But a detour doesn't have to be a failure. In fact, most of the time, it's simply a matter of perspective. You could see your detour as wasted time, or you could say, that was an experience that brought clarity. You might look back and think, that wasn't ideal, and it wasn't what I wanted. But now you know. And knowing what doesn't work spares you the agony of repeating it later. It's not failure, it's a filtering process. Mindset makes the difference. You could dwell in regret, or you could walk forward with a deeper understanding of yourself. Both are available to you. But one makes you wiser, and the other keeps you stuck. Another aspect of this conversation is how people often turn their roads into competitions. I went down this road, they say, so I'm better than you. As if success is measured by what job you have or how much money you make. But life isn't a race. It's a journey. And everyone's destination is different. We're not all striving for the same landmarks. Comparing your progress to someone else's is like comparing apples to sunsets. The measurement makes no sense. Let me give you a real example. I had a friend, someone I don't speak to anymore, who once told me she had completed her doctorate in pharmacy, the highest level of education in her field. She was working as a pharmacist and making about $50 an hour, which amounts to over $200,000 a year. By most societal standards, she was winning. She had the degree, the money, the career. But the way she carried herself told a different story. Her demeanor was heavy. Her attitude was curt. She seemed unhappy, miserable even. That stuck with me. Here was someone on a road that many would admire, yet her energy didn't reflect peace or fulfillment. Meanwhile, someone else earning half that income might be overflowing with joy. And that's the point. A larger paycheck doesn't always equal a better life. Joy doesn't automatically arrive with more money. It comes from alignment, when your path reflects your values, your spirit, and your true desires. To this day, I don't know what became of her. We don't talk anymore. But I genuinely hope she found happiness. A new path maybe, one that feels more aligned. I bring her up not to criticize, but to show how easily we can confuse success with satisfaction. People spend so much time arguing over whose road is right. But every second we spend proving a point is a second we lose from simply living. It's like when people debate endlessly about which phone or game console is best, forgetting to actually enjoy the one they have. So just walk your path, immerse yourself in it, live it fully, without apology. And if someone disagrees, that's okay. They don't have to walk it, you do. Too often we waste our lives trying to validate our journey to others. That takes energy away from the real work, becoming who we were meant to be. And let's not ignore how much of this pressure comes from family, especially parents. In many households, especially here in America, there's this implicit expectation that kids will follow a road approved by their parents. Sometimes, that road is paved with good intentions. But even then, it can feel suffocating if it's not your own. Maybe you wanted to walk down Charles Street, but your parents insisted on Main Street. Made-up streets, sure, but the sentiment is real. You might spend decades living by their map, only to look up one day and realize you're lost, on a road you never asked for. That realization can be painful. So if you're in that situation, consider what needs to change. Maybe it's setting boundaries. Maybe it's having a tough conversation. Maybe it's quietly shifting direction. Whatever it is, remember, you deserve a life that feels like yours. Because this is your road, your life, your chance to explore the winding, wonderful, unpredictable highways of your own potential. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Signing out. Have a good one, guys.